and this I'll get to the greater point of this. But Jason Derulo, I'm assuming I said his name right, got sued by Serati Emaza Gibson for misconduct and intimidation. I say misconduct. Obviously, I can't say the S part in front of it. So basically, it just says that he's at the center of the lawsuit filed by the influencer and musician Emaza, best known for the musical act. I don't know what that is. Well, is accusing Jason quid pro quo of harassment. According to the lawsuit filed on Wednesday, Emaza claims that Jason initially offered her a record deal, but apparently changed his mind after she rejected his advances and repeated invitations to eat and drink alcohol. She says that Jason eventually dropped her deal altogether and ended their working relationship after turning down his advances. She says, I'm at the point in my life right now. It's very heartbreaking. Amasa said during a recent interview with NBC News, I have anxiety. I'm traumatized. I've dealt with inhumane work situations. I'm at this point where I'm back to zero and I have nothing. The lawsuit states that Esma required medical assistance for breakdowns, weight loss, insomnia, mood swings, and more. It also claims that she sought mental health treatment and was diagnosed with PTSD. Jason says denied all accusations. These claims are completely false and hurtful. Jason said in a statement provided to people. I stand against all forms of harassment and remain committed to supporting people chasing their dreams. I strive to live my life positively, impacting way. So I am deeply offended by these defamatory allegations. According to reports, Mazda is suing for the harassment, breach of contract, illegal retaliatory termination, and more. She is repeatedly seeking a jury trial for her complaint against Jason. So, one of the things that stood out was this comment made by this lady who responded to this comment made by this man. He said, how come they sue but never press charges? Then a lady said, why should I not have a choice to decide on how I want my restitution? How do you feel about that statement?
Why, if somebody, okay, personally, as a woman, if somebody does something such as that to me and violate it type of way as such, what am I suing you for? I'm calling the police.
Um, I said, why not do both?
That
Because if that whole entire thing is true, if she had a contract and all this stuff, and she's giddy and she made some financial decisions based on this contract and everything like that, she's entitled to that. If you say you're gonna help me out, and because I don't give you something for it, and you turn around and that's not in the contract or anything like that, plus you can't put work like that in the contract anyways.
mm,
But if you turn around and you basically get rid of the contract and all that all together, yeah, I should be able to sue you for that. But my thing was this. I said to the lady, I said, because you should do both. What sense does that make? She says it makes sense, obviously, to the person who was abused. What point don't you get that you don't get to decide what's best for someone else? Now, what sense does that make for you not to be able to comprehend this? It's not that hard. I said, basically, how I struck back at her is I literally just said, because basically it doesn't make any sense because if you do it, if they do it once, they'll do it again. You're actually helping the next woman, but maybe
yeah,
she don't believe in sisterhood. Because my thing is this: if you know it's an abuser and all that, that's why they have two courts. You can sue criminally,
mm,
which means basically those are charges, and then you can sue civilly. So you can press charges and sue. They did it to OJ. OJ beat his murder charge, but he lost his civil suit. So for stupid women like that, I don't like women like that. Because if this man did exactly what you said, all right, cool. Go get it. Hey, he need to be up under the jail and all that. He need to get what's coming to him and all that. But he still needs to go to jail. Because
yeah,
what are you saying to the next woman? When is he gonna stop then? And that's the part where I believe I don't think she's telling the truth. Because one, if that's the case, where in the hell, and I'm just gonna be fair, where in the hell is the retribution for him to go to jail? It just doesn't make sense. If I'm scared of somebody and I have PTSD and all this stuff and everything like that, I would think if I know that they're in jail,
You'll feel safe, right?
you get what I'm saying? This is why you can't pay to get out of murder charges if you're convicted 100%. If you get convicted, they ain't gonna be like, hey, you know what? Even though we just convicted you of murder, bruh, we're still gonna go ahead and allow your butt to be free if you pay a certain amount of money to the victims. You get what I'm saying?
That don't make no sense. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that shit don't make no sense. Cause why let the if that was the case, the motherfucker could have just came up with the money, spent the money, and never even got the got out of the charges and walked free. But I do feel like honestly, she should have still went and pressed charges against him because if he is doing that, then he needs to suffer some type of other consequences versus you just getting money out of him because the motherfucker can go do a show and make some more money. Like the money ain't gonna be the issue. You feel me? Like the money can be made back, but justice, I get what you're saying for other women and looking out for other women. That's not gonna come along with that. If all you're doing is just suing him, because what if that happened to somebody else? Because then at that point, now it's a paper trail against him. So if
Right,
it offends, then consequences be issued. But if it's not, there's really no paper trail.
right. It bothers me how we can have a quote unquote sisterhood, but then there's not rules that's enforced. If I'm a woman and I say anybody, I don't care what it is, but we'll just say men in this particular instance. If a man abused me, I do want money from him. Because that's one of the things that pisses me off about a lot of women who do get abused and everything like that. Y'all don't even go hit these fools' pockets. Like, baby, there's some dollars that can happen for you if he got some money, and you might as well find out. If I was abused, I want you in jail, and I want you broke. I want you broke in two type of ways. I want you physically broken, and I want you financially broken. That's
Right.
just me though. But how you feel about that?
I think because I know a lot of girls has been abused before. I feel like from their perspective, like when we ever discussed it, it's more so of I'm just happy the nigga left me alone. Like I don't care about his money and all of that. I'm just happy I got out of that situation. I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't even want his money. I want no ties to this man after but so much time that they spent in those situations. But I feel like it would be smart for them to have some type of financial compensation because you're gonna need therapy after that because it's traumatic as fuck. You know, it's a lot of things that that woman is gonna have to readjust to in life, um, just to be back kind of I want to say in a normal mindset and headspace. But yes, absolutely. Like I've never been abused before, but for the women who do, they should. They definitely should get some type of compensation. Something. You need to be getting something because there's no way you went and took all of that physical bodily harm, that mental harm, that emotional harm, and you don't get shit. And this motherfucker's on to his next victim or who?
Well, let me ask you this: before I said it, did you even know you could do that?
No, I didn't.
All right. So that might be just lack of knowledge. Then, to be fair, to I don't want to. Because what thing I don't want to do is I don't want to create a whole entire. I don't want to paint a whole entire illustration of women could do this and do that, and a lot of them didn't even know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I really didn't even know that you could go sue a person that's like abusing you or nothing. But that's smart because now it's gonna be people that's gonna come back to watch this and that's gonna be educated. And you never know. We might be helping somebody do something for themselves.
Yeah. I just there's always a victim's fund and all of this stuff and everything, and I know this because the streets and all that stuff. So if you get shot and all that, you can basically get a victim's fund. What's going on, Faith? How you doing, darling?
Gang, sorry I'm late. How you doing?
Good. How you?
Pretty good.
I'm good.
Did you get to catch up? I don't think you did, but the Jason Derulo story.
I saw a little bit of it. I know that y'all were probably just talking about it, but did y'all already cover the fact that this is the same lady that put out the diss track to all of the female rappers last week on Twitter?
Okay.
Um, There was a girl. It went viral on Twitter. It was the same girl, Amadi. She's from Sarati, the group Sarati. They're a failed group at this point, but they had some notoriety a few years ago. They was at the Rock Nation brunch. They were signed. You know, they had a lot of talent and potential. So sad to see what happened. But apparently, she became a Trump supporter. She left the group. She has a whole lot of drama surrounding her name. So the first time I saw her in a long time was last week when she's dissing Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi. I mean, like literally everybody. She was dissing all the female rappers. And now this week she's suing Jason Derulo. It's given broke. It's given I need to stay relevant in the blogs. And it's given why is this an issue now? Because wasn't Jason Derulo just getting his props for having he
A
had some
#1 single for the last since 2009. Yeah.
exactly so some type of accolade, and it's just like I feel like she was sitting in the room like, oh yeah, I remember I used to work with him. What can I get some money out of this guy?
The
And
only problem with that is in order for that to have happened, she would have had to have served him immediately today and then immediately ran to the blogs, which would be to me beyond difficult. So when you're suing somebody, you have to serve them.
mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So I just don't know if she was able to do that. Now she knew exactly where he was, and she was able to go do that quickly. Then yeah, that would be disturbing.
I don't put it past her. Like I don't know the timeline of everything. I just feel like I'm not saying she filed this because his accolades came out. I just feel like her timing of putting out that whack ass diss track and suing this man is it's too close together. Like she needs some type of controversy around her name so she could get back in the algorithm. Have you ever
So
even heard of her?
no, I didn't. But let me run it back to you for what happened real quick. All right. So I get all that, but with no disrespect in how I say this, it's still there's still a matter at hand that this is a possibility that this did happen.
I didn't say it didn't happen,
No,
but
no, I'm saying
victimized. She
no.
being
Listen,
hurt by it.
hold. This is the reason why I'm explaining to you the reason why I'm bringing it up because all of that is cool, but I'm just talking about the afterwards. So essentially, this is what happened. She's civilly suing him for basically a breach of contract and harassment. And basically, she said because he didn't take her advances and all this stuff and everything like that, he ended the contract with her. Then she said that she went through all type of therapy, PTSD, and all of these things and stuff like that. So what I said, what happened was there was a guy who said, "Why didn't she press charges?"
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a response from a lady, and I'm gonna pull it up so I could do it verbatim. I don't want to paraphrase anything in this instance because I don't think that's fair to her, even though she basically just alluded to the fact that I'm kind of stupid, but it is what it is. She said, "Why should I not have a choice to decide on how I want my restitution?" And then I said, "Because you should do both. What sense does that make?" She said it makes sense, obviously, to the person who was abused. What point don't you get that you don't get to decide what's best for someone else? Now, what sense does that make for you not to be able to comprehend this? It's not that hard.
I get what that person is saying because as a victim of abuse, you decide if you even want to make it known that you are a victim or a survivor of said trauma, said abuse. That's one. That's one telling, maybe confiding in your friends, close friends, and family. It takes a whole nother step to actually go to law enforcement, like a lot of sexual abuse and, you know,
Let's just say abuse because that'll get
oh yeah,
demonetized down the road.
my bad. But a lot of abuse is severely underreported. So it's not a matter of if it happened or didn't happen. I'm not here to get into that. I really don't. I just feel like some behaviors could be clout chasey. Because
Okay.
even if this happened, you might have been working with Jason Derulo like literally 5 years ago. When was the last time you ever heard of Jason Derulo? Like I said, she was at the Rock Nation brunch years ago. This all she could have came up with this years ago, and she would have had the heartfelt sympathy, genuine sympathy of America, but a lot of people do not like her because of her views and things that she's done. She's just not a likable character. But back to what the comment that you just read, I feel as if because that type of abuse is so much underreported. It's up to the victim how they want to go about it. Now, a lot of people don't want to drag this out in litigation, civil court and criminal court. Like, that's a lot of court for someone who may not even want to revisit the trauma, relive the trauma, have to explain it to.
So let me stop you right there real quick. She went and did a sit down interview with NBC, so it would be beyond difficult for me to believe that, because you went and did a sit down interview with NBC News. Like, that sounds good on the surface.
I agree. That lady is clout chasing, but I was saying in general, the response that the lady said has legs for your everyday average woman. For Emaza of Sarati, I feel like she's just a clout chaser. And
okay. So let me say this. I'm gonna disagree with you.
Before you say that, I just do want to say, as a woman, I don't want to sound like I'm against her in any way. So I do want to make it clear, like, my prayers is with her, my support is with her. I question the timing of her claim.
Okay. So here's where I would disagree with you at, right? And I wrote it in my response to her. I try to be as succinct as possible. I said it doesn't make sense, because if they do it once, they'll do it again. So you're actually helping the next woman, but maybe you don't believe in sisterhood. How I mean this is this: if you press charges, you don't hire lawyers. That's what the cops are for. That's what the investigators are for. That's what the DA, the district attorney, is for. So you're not hiring that person at all. Your taxes pay for that.
Yeah.
So when people look at that and say that, you're not paying anything. The only thing that you're essentially doing is you're getting a lawyer. But even if you get a lawyer, when you do a civil suit, within that civil suit is the money back for the lawyer that you hired. So really, all you have to do, because the easiest part is pressing charges. The hardest part is actually suing civilly. Because no lawyer, regardless of anything, is just going to take you on face value unless there's a video out there and it's 100% a slam dunk. So
monetary value, from a monetary point of value, I mean, you're absolutely right. But like I said, it takes the emotional courage, that taxation on a person. They have to physically want to go throughout the process.
Yeah, but we're talking about this individual in particular. I'm not talking about all women and everything like that. I can understand that. And I would tell women that y'all would have to start to use your sisterhood, because the problem is, like I said, if they did it once, they'll do it again. If you got away with, and everybody is guilty of this, if you got away with speeding, you done sped before. So you done did it again. In California, we had a state called the California stop at a stop sign, where we barely stop at the damn stop sign. But you know what? We'll barely tap on it, stop a little bit, look, and then go. And then we'll keep on doing that to the point where we damn near run stop signs. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's a pattern of behavior. And if not corrected, it's going to continue on. And that's my whole entire issue with the whole entire thing, because men would love to protect y'all. The problem with it is we don't know what the hell going on.
That sounds good and well, Ceddy, but we're talking about the music business. We're talking about Hollywood, where this shit is common. Like, you think Jason Derulo, the first guy to mention fish scales? Like, this is what they sign up for. They know this. And I'm not saying she should have expected this, but come on, anybody.
And why did Me Too just pop out?
Exactly, Me Too. So
it's no longer accepted.
But my point to you is, all those women came out in Me Too, and men will still victimize a woman. It didn't stop it from happening again. So
it's definitely curving it though. See, that's my issue right there. It took one brave woman to decide to say, this person been doing this to me. Mm-hmm. And then now the cascade effect go. Now you're not as embarrassed. I could stand with you what you're saying if this was beyond 2000. I mean, this was past of 2015.
You know how many people make a joke of Me Too? Like, I will be very honest with you. And let's keep it a stack. Like, let's keep it a stack. I've been through some shit in just the past year, and I didn't report the nigga. And guess what? He could have got killed. And I said, let me use better judgment. I ain't going to send none of my family to jail. But at the same time, I wanted to move on with my life, and I did not want to deal with no shit. And even though I should have, and I could have, I did not.
Once again.
But wait. And so let me further it more. So say homeboy who I did not report, say I see him 10 years down the line and he's a millionaire. And then now I want to sue the nigga. But the whole time while he was not up, I ain't want to sue him.
That's a bullshit hypothetical. And I'm gonna tell you why. No. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna do it to somebody else. He's more likely to do it to somebody else than become a millionaire.
both can be wait.
Nah,
Yeah,
no.
your probability. Yo, I don't know where you be coming up with your statistics, but that's not even verified. Like he could become a millionaire if he wanted to.
So you telling me he's
Wait.
more likely to become a millionaire than have been a serial abuser?
Granted, he could be, but my whole point, we're not here to debate whether the probability is greater or less. My whole point is that my timing of choosing to say something 10 years later, because I see the nigga up, that would be mad fishy because I chose to kept my silence for 10 years. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? In the example that we just, the lady that
Yeah, and I reject it.
And so then we're going to have to agree to disagree because I feel like
that's perfectly fine. Go ahead, go ahead.
Naya, who do you see what I'm saying though?
She not gonna be with you on this one. Go ahead, darling.
It's not about that. Let's see what she got to say.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is the timing in which she chose to react is weird, correct?
Yes, because I just seen her last week dissing all the female rappers.
Okay, all right.
For that alone, it's weird.
All right.
That's business though, but all right, that has nothing to do with anything. Because
all right. Okay, so I see both ends because two things can be true at once. I'm not gonna hold you because it is women that do that shit. It is, but in the same sense, right? We can't we can't we can't choose to pick when we decide to want to speak up about something. Like if something happened to you, it happened to you. You can't take that from a person. Well, if it's now and it happened, and then in 10 years you see that person, that shit still happen. So me personally, I would want to press charges against the nigga. Like fuck what you gonna have in 10 years if you're gonna have some money. I would rather other women be safe because at the end of the day, if something happened to me traumatic like that, if somebody does any type of harm to me, I want you fucked in the worst possible way ever. So I'm not gonna wait to take action on something. Like, no, I will do my best to immediately try to get something started and start a paper trail to come out and let people know, like, hey, even though it's personal, and sometimes it takes people time to even want to speak about personal issues and such. I would still just not want the next woman to even want to deal with that. Like, if you did something to me, I'm going to let you know, hey, this motherfucker did something to me. And just so you don't have to go through the same thing and we make, our community aware of what's going on, that would be more important than, oh, well, 10 years shit, the nigga got money and I see him now and I want something from him. No, I want you fucked now.
But I feel like before we get to the sisterhood, because everything you said is valid and 100%, what people don't realize is sometimes when you're going through that process of reporting, you don't have a sisterhood. Sometimes people don't even have a support system. And then the support system that they do have, it may be feelings of shame, embarrassment, all types of things. So there's a lot of reasons why between the initial event.
So then suck it up.
And the actual ending where you can have camaraderie with sisterhood is a lot of space in between that. And that could be years for some women. You know what I mean?
There is a sisterhood. It's called the police.
My nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? Police ain't never been a sister to me. What are you talking about?
You didn't report it. So what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking to you because I have dealt with police before and they ain't never been a sister to me. So
you never reported it. So how can you say that?
Like I said, I've dealt with police before, and I didn't feel like they would have been a sister to me. So
what you feel and what you know are two completely different things.
For women, how about you ask women and ask us would we have felt a sisterhood with the police instead of telling us that's where the sisterhood.
You never called the police, so what's the point in asking?
You can't speak for us, so you can't tell me that's my reality.
I can tell you because you're going off feelings and not facts.
Well, you can say it, but it won't be true.
I know. I just said it.
Nothing I say would be a feeling because everything I would say would be.
You just said out your own mouth verbatim. You said I feel like the police wouldn't have did anything. You don't know because you didn't do it.
I never said I feel. I said I have dealt with.
We'll run it back. You go.
I never.
So hold on. If on camera you just said that I feel like the police wouldn't have did anything, you're saying you didn't just say that?
I said, and I'll repeat it again. I said I have dealt with police before, and I have never felt no sisterhood from them. Catch it. Catch the tea. Now run it back because that's what I said.
No, that's not what you said. You said you didn't feel that they would.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Either way it go, you didn't call the police, so you don't know. That's the thing. You can go off feelings and all this shit and pass whatever and everything like that. That sounds good. Hold on. That sounds good. But until you actually get the facts of the matter, then that's not what you're going to get. See, the answer, to be truthful, is somebody got to stand up and do something. You just said you ain't want your people in jail. That's admirable. That's admirable. But the problem with it is somebody got to go to jail.
So that's why I'm trying to tell you, like, I don't need to air my shit out to validate my point. I said what I'm saying.
You don't have to air it out. All you had to do is let the police know.
There's been multiple times where police may have been involved, may or may not have been involved, and they were never on my
side. Or may not. The sun may or may not come up tomorrow. What does that matter?
This is my life, so I ain't gonna give.
That's pointless to say that. May or may not. No, go through it. So then that way you could go through the steps. The problem with it is, and this is my biggest problem, there are a shit ton of women out there right now that are abused and all of this stuff. And the problem that I have is there's nobody that's gonna sit there and tell them, you know what, man, go ahead and report his ass. Instead of waiting on, hey, man, it's happening to somebody else, and then I'm going to come out the shadows and everything. Women got to start leading with this shit because I'm tired of hearing these whack-ass dudes get away with shit like this. These whack-ass dudes that keep on abusing women and getting away with it. I'm tired of this shit because we don't know. And then y'all will sit around and then go, nobody wanted to help me when nobody knew. That's the problem.
You got your shit off. Let me get my shit up because you guys going up. You talking about I'm going up with emotions. I don't. You talking up of your feelings. But let's just bring up a real fact. The criminal justice underpunishes sexual. They underpunish those types of crimes and abuse.
I agree.
Wait, case in point, the woman who was running a daycare who had video footage of her husband abusing them daycare kids. She's sitting in jail right now for 4 years. Her husband is at home on house arrest. Don't tell me, oh, go report it because there's a sisterhood. Ain't no fucking sisterhood, my nigga. Like, please miss me with the bullshit. If you want to talk
because she acted off emotion. She was supposed to go through the steps, and then she felt as though, because you obviously read the whole entire thing, and she felt as though there was not enough justice for the babies. If she felt as though it was not enough justice for them babies, then she could go ahead and pop him. The problem is we have the criminal justice system there for a reason. This is why we don't have vigilantes. I'm not in disagreement that she shouldn't have popped him.
It don't work all the time.
Nobody said it does. Nobody said it's perfect.
You don't expect people to rely on it 100% of the time.
You still got to go through the process. You still have to go through the process.
My bro, we can choose to go with the process or we can choose community.
When you don't go through with the process, then what you say is invalid.
I agree to disagree. What's the next topic?
We can. That's perfectly fine. I still love you.
I love you too.